I have a very special episode of Dude I Love or Hate My New Truck, because right here is a brand new 2022 Toyota Tundra, but not just any Tundra, it's a Tundra that I have never seen before because it's a long bed, and I have an owner, Steve. Steve, hello.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Nice to meet you. Yes.
You as well.
And you have been a Tundra owner for what, 22-ish years?
Yep. I've had, this will be my fourth Tundra, fourth SR5.
So you might be one of the, really good owners who've had previous experience with Tundras, who can tell me about your experience with this new one and some of the things you noticed with it and your first experience. But you got it, just 5 or 6 days ago?
Yep. December 28th, so kind of lucked out.
Well, first of all, why Tundras? Why have you been a Tundra owner? You've had now four. Yeah. I've had the 2000 SR5,
that's double cab, the 08 double cab, and the 14 double cab, all with the 6.5 foot bed.
Yes.
And I really wanted an 8-foot bed due to what I do for work. Carry a lot of large materials, and sometimes I don't want to schlep around the 16-foot deck over trailer.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I wanted to see if I could score one of these. The thing that always draws me back to Toyotas is I'm driving them still with 200,000 miles on it. And it's holding value, and I'm not really replacing anything other than wheels and brakes and rotors on occasion. Otherwise, they're kind of bulletproof.
Kind of reliable. But of course, this truck is changed. They changed everything, right?
Sure.
So the chassis, the engine, the transmission. It's now a twin turbo V6. So tell me your perspective, like driving it as far as power. Do you like the power?
Oh, the power is great. Once you step on that gas, the accelerator, it flies. I'm definitely trying to learn its nuances right now and see what sort of mileage I'll get per gallon. I think that's a big interest for a lot of folks, and it was a big driver for getting rid of my 14 for this one. So I'm very excited.
And the truck is already gone? You already traded it? Or?
Yeah, October 25th.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, let's come over this way. And so this is a double cab, which means there's a slightly shorter cab, so it's not a crew.
Sure.
And then let's start here, and then we'll walk inside. So this is an 8-footer. They call it 8-1.
Yep. But
really, do you have some measuring tape?
Yeah, I think I do.
So I kind of want to measure this bed and actually show all the features here. So first of all, you've used the previous Tundras a lot, so you know a lot about these beds.
Yeah, we can just use the key fob.
Oh, there you go. Cool. So this is interesting already. So if you look here at the coating, so this is the way that it came, right?
Yep. This was one of the few options. It's the non-slip spray-in coating. And if you notice, it's not only on the deck and the tailgate, but it also goes up the sides, just in case you need to climb the walls.
So nothing will ever slip out of this. So Toyota switched to basically a composite bed, and it's really great because it's kind of dent resistant, right? Corrosion resistant, a lot of other benefits, but it can be slick.
Sure.
It can be slick, but this is like sandpaper, dude.
Oh yeah, this is great. It's probably like a 45 grit.
Okay, so now let's measure the length first and see exactly what it is.
See if it really...
This is like the limo. You got a limo truck. So to the open tailgate, that's 10. That's pretty nice.
Yep.
And to the inside of the bed, it's about 8. I don't know, maybe it's an 8 and something.
Yeah, some change.
But you were telling me your previous Tundra trucks had slightly wide, or actually significantly wider beds.
I think so. I think if you looked at the specs, it's always good for camping, and if you're storing some extra gear on the sides, and so it's interesting that they chose to shrink this down.
And then the width-wise, yes. So let's measure that.
Let's see.
So wall to wall, we have about 61-ish?
Yep, just about 61.
Okay, and then here,
inside,
it should be at least 4 feet. And it is.
Just shy of 49.
Okay. Is that good for what you do?
I mean, you can definitely haul a 4x8 piece of wood, but for hauling certain types of steel, a lot of them come just about 1.25 inches wider. So I haven't tested it out, but it'll be something to look into.
Okay, well, this is very interesting. I haven't seen one of these, even at the new first drive event of the Tundras and other events I've been to. This is quite interesting. It has a longer wheelbase. Let's walk on this side.
Sure.
This is an SR5.
Yep.
They also have the SRs.
Yep.
And we'll talk about pricing later.
Sure.
But the SR5s and SRs don't have this neat feature that some others do.
It doesn't. I'm kind of hoping a lot of times Toyotas, you're able to plug and play different accessories that come on higher end models.
Yeah.
And you just buy them ad hoc, so to speak. And
Kind of upgrading your truck as you go, right?
Yeah. So hopefully, it's pre-wired.
But you do have the key, of course.
Yeah.
All of them should have that feature
Yeah.
for the tailgate.
So we got this right here, and you just hold that button down, and that's pretty cool.
Okay.
And to be honest, I can get over the little tail light.
If you have this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Okay. Well, you also saved money, right? We'll talk about that in a second.
Sure.
So like we were saying, the wheelbase on this truck is longer than other Tundras. You can kind of see it especially in the profile shot. I think it's about like 156 inches, if I'm not mistaken. I guess we could measure.
Yeah. Let's try it. You want to go down that way?
Yeah. Let's see. This is about where I am.
I'm at 163.
163. That kind of makes sense.
13.7.
Okay. So the crew cab short bed, 5.5 foot, has a 145 inch.
Okay.
So this is what, 18 inches
Yeah.
more. I mean, it is a stretch.
Yep. It is the limo.
So let's look on the inside and kind of talk me through some of the other trucks you've owned, some other Tundras, and how it compares.
What's really nice that they have this compartment back in here, which that's something they took away from the 2014 to the 21. The 2008 to the 2013 had the little pocket that you could press and open it up and put stuff in. They kind of added that back in some sort of way.
But what about the interior? So you had other SR5s, right?
Sure. Yep.
So material similar here, cloth versus not cloth?
Yep.
Or
I've had all cloth, and one thing I'll be interested to see how these seats hold up. The 14 to the 21 models, I found that any slight water would leave kind of a ring on the seats.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see how these hold up. Right now, they look great. For me, they fit really well.
How about the space as far as interior?
Well, I love the kind of the cockpit and the center console. I think this is one of the bigger selling points for me personally, that it's really updated. And the finish of everything seems real high quality. It's nice to touch. Steering wheel's great. Sitting in here, I like how it feels. I like where my arms rest. As far as the space, for me, I'm 5'8", and I gotta be honest, I think it's a really great size for probably anyone in my height range, especially considering putting people in the back.
Yeah, let's show that. Let's open that up.
I've got some kids, and they fit in really well into the back with their feet going underneath the seat. Mind you, I do have a little seat protector there. So I think for kids, for me, it works out really well. I think if you got anybody over
Taller,
6 foot, taller.
Well, let me try.
Sure.
I'm a bit over 6.
And my seat is currently where I would sit and drive.
Okay, let me try.
If we had Andre in there, and
you know what? So my knees are touching, not terribly, and I have headroom still.
Yeah.
So I mean,
there's tons of headroom in this truck. I will say this: I could probably wear a cowboy hat.
There is a good amount of headroom, but one of the negatives is like the middle seat. The cup holders are protruding.
Sure.
Into the middle seat area.
And that's something in the previous model. The cup holders folded in, cascaded back into the center console, and that way you could fit somebody's legs into that space.
And this one they don't.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, this feature, do you think this is useful? Having the 4, regularly opening doors? Some others like Ford have like clamshell doors.
Sure. On my 2000 model, it actually had, as we call it, the old suicide doors.
Yeah.
And that worked fine for back then, but I prefer this style of door opening. The one thing that I kind of wish they kept was the pocket.
Oh yeah,
open.
so it's kind of what's hiding. Hiding the door handle.
It'd be a little cleaner. I mean, mind you, these aren't that bulky. Nice feel, sturdy. I mean, my kids are already hanging off of them. But it's just one of those features that the pocket was nice.
And you have what, like 200 miles on the clock? It's a brand new puppy.
Being it's one of my first 8-foot bed trucks, I'm kind of getting used to that nuance and seeing how that feels on the freeway.
Mm-hmm. You were telling me like this wheelbase is creating some sort of isolation or something like that on the highway.
It just seems, I don't know if it's tires or, like I said, wheelbase, but definitely seems like there's a lot of movement of the entire truck.
And this is like the concrete portion.
Correct. But as soon as you hit the asphalt pavement, it's very smooth, incredibly smooth. So
this is basically an 8-inch screen. I mean, did you want this, or did you want that big screen, or?
That's hard to say. As a more utilitarian sort of guy, I was totally fine with this.
Okay. Tell me about this. You said you noticed that this may not be what you expected, the mirror.
Sure. I've noticed that even doing off the build sheet off of Toyota.com, this exact model even comes in the same MSRP, and it comes with the auto dimming. This is not it. It literally looks like down in San Antonio, they're like, all right, we ran out of mirrors. Somebody go to AutoZone and let's plug this in.
It's very basic.
What's really interesting, when I was driving on the freeway during the snowstorm after New Year's, going into the 4 high was really simple and the truck handled very well. Halfway through that trip back down from Denver, I threw it in the 2-wheel high, so 2-wheel drive, and the truck handled really nicely still. I didn't notice any, slippage.
And it was easy to change between them.
Very easy to change. And there was no, sometimes you'll feel like a clunk or a solenoid engaging in previous trucks, and there's nothing going on with this one. It's really, really flawless.
And I like on the SR5, so we have a long-term truck. Our Tundra is a limited truck. It has slightly different trim. Sure. I like this cubby hole here.
Yeah, like
that you get. Wallet, boom.
Put my wallet up there.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I think that's really nice. So that's,
I don't know why they took this away from some of the models.
Sure.
I'm not quite sure.
And I'm pretty sure on some of them it's just like a faceplate.
Yeah, it's like covered. Yeah.
So during that storm, driving back, I think a lot of the sensors are right in here.
Yeah, this is the radar, and there's parking sensors too. Yeah.
So my whole front end was caked with ice.
Okay.
And the interior said, clean off, none of these sensors are currently working. So I have a feeling that a lot of folks may end up, with, the ice was thick enough I couldn't just be chiseling it off. It had to melt off.
Right, it had to melt off. So that means probably like your adaptive cruise control system wouldn't work, or some other systems wouldn't work. But I mean, you can still make progress and drive.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess it's a little bit annoying seeing those messages, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that being said, I did pull in a spot when I first received the truck, and there was a fence kind of right in front. And all of a sudden, my truck would just, and I was like, oh, what's going on? Did I hit something? I was probably still 1.5 feet away. No, it was the truck sensing that fence was still in front. So it was trying
to apply brake for you?
Oh, and it did.
Okay.
It was great.
Okay.
So that was a really cool feature.
A lot of people are looking for these trucks. It's a brand new, just on the first month on sale, right?
Yep.
And a lot of them being marked up. Were you able to find it at MSRP? Or how was that search for you?
That search was constant, and luckily I had a lot of spare time at that time to look for trucks, and I called around to a lot of different dealers, and I really dug in to see when things were allocated in our area, and I got wind, and long story short, I went locally here up in Fort Collins, and they were able to find not only a truck in 2021, the 2022 model, but one with the 8-foot bed. And that was the goal. To answer your question about MSRP, I did not pay over.
Okay.
So the way you configure it on Toyota's website, the silver, SR5, double cab, there are a few options. The spray-in bed liner,
Okay.
All-weather floor mats. It was with the shipping and handling, I think it was $47,500.
Okay, so that's decent for a truck with this amount of power, this capability, right?
Absolutely.
And
especially considering what past models are currently selling for.
I mean, after a few days, do you love it? Would you do it again?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, I'm a fan of Tundras, and like I said, I'm looking forward to towing with it, filling that full 8-foot bed up, having fun with it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
Hey,
Thank you for sharing it.
You bet.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And stay in touch. Let me know how it does in a few months.
Yeah, we'll have a tow off.
Okay. Or at least a highway drive off and
Yes.
see how it does. Well, there you have it, guys. It's great to see different versions of the new Tundra, especially this long bed that I've never seen before. Also this coating that I haven't seen before. And also know that you can still get a brand new truck for a decent value. Maybe not with a discount, but at least MSRP. And as always, go back to TFLtruck.com for the most recent news, views, and real-world reviews, and TFL-studios.com for all of the automotive stuff.